And from Aaron Zeng, we're going to have Metagross, Gyarados, Pelipper, Tapu Lele, Golduck, and Xurkitree.
Yes, well, a lot different. The teams are a lot different to what we were expecting them to use or what they've used previously, but it's no surprise that these two big players would change up their strategy. It looks like Ben Kiriakou is going for a more Trick Room-oriented team with his Oranguru being able to go for the Trick Room, while his Marowak and his Hariyama are very slow themselves.
It looks like Aaron is actually going to be going for a more offensive, fast-paced team. He's got that Gyarados, which could have the ability to use Dragon Dance to boost itself up. We could see the Tapu Lele holding a Choice Scarf, but we've also got the option for Swift Swim on the Golduck as well. So we're going to see two very differing speed modes here, and there's a lot of damage potential coming out from Ben's side of the field. Kartana is a very important Pokemon. It has the very powerful same type attack boosted grass type attacks. And if Golduck comes out, we're going to see how much damage this Kartana can take. It's very frail, so if Ben protects it well, it could do some big damage against Aaron's team, but it has to survive the turn.
Yes, that's true, and we are going to be jumping into our game very soon, and we can tell you right now that Ben Kiriakou is going to lead with Ninetales and Kartana, while Aaron Cybertron Zeng does lead with Tapu Lele and Metagross.
So yeah, we are going to see that Kartana coming out from Ben here, and alongside the Ninetales, which is going to set up the snow warning. The hail is going to come down, do residual damage, and also make sure that Blizzard hits 100% of the time. So we're going to have to see what items people are running here. So Metagross is in a very good position here because we have to see if Kartana knows Night Slash. If Night Slash is going to come out onto the Metagross, Metagross will probably want to protect here, but it does massive damage to Ninetales.
It does huge damage to Ninetales, and especially with Bullet Punch, which is a priority move, maybe Ninetales will get knocked out, but the Tapu Lele is on the field. That's what the pink background is all about, which is the psychic terrain. So Metagross unfortunately won't be able to Bullet Punch the Ninetales, but an Iron Head will definitely knock it out unless it's carrying a
Tapu Lele enjoys this position as well. If Kartana does know Night Slash, it does threaten both of Aaron's Pokemon, but Tapu Lele, extremely powerful special attacker. It can get some massive damage off here. Kartana not known for its strong defenses, so if we launch a Psychic into there, oh no, we're just going to see a switch.
Yeah, we're just going to see a switch into the Pelipper. It's going to remove that hail, and with the drizzle, it's going to set up the rain. Meanwhile, what are we going to see from the other side of the field? We don't see any switches. We do see the Blizzard avoids the Pelipper, which is probably the target Ben wanted to hit, and it's going to hit the Metagross, not do too much damage. We do see the Night Slash onto Metagross. Is it going to be able to knock out the Metagross? No! It's not a critical hit, but the Meteor Mash is going to connect onto the Kartana. Oh, wow.
So Meteor Mash coming out from Metagross there, going to hit onto the Kartana. Not do too much damage, but Kartana is now in range from big attacks from the Pelipper. So we're going to see that the Kartana, obviously a very offensive, powerful attacking Pokemon, going to hit into that Metagross, leave it with just a third of HP there. So Aaron really wanting to protect that Tapu Lele and making sure that Ninetales wouldn't be able to get off big Blizzard damage. And Ninetales being able to spam Blizzard like that also it allowed Aaron to position his Pokemon in a way that Ben would not be able to get up Aurora Veil. Aurora Veil being a new attack, and we'll explain afterwards.
Yeah, but we do see the Leaf Blade onto the Pelipper. That is a critical hit, but that is a very bulky Pelipper to take that. But we do see the Freeze Ray onto the Pelipper. The Pelipper is going to go down, but does Aaron choose to finally target the Ninetales with a Steel move? We're going to see the Meteor Mash right into... Is it going to be into the Kartana again? But no, it's going to be into the Ninetales, possibly the correct target. But we do see the Focus Sash on the Ninetales.
A really good turn for Ben there. He doubled down onto... Oh, there we go. We see the attack coming up for Metagross there. Meteor Mash does have the additional effect of raising your attack every now and then. So a really good turn for Ben there. He really doubled down onto that Pelipper slot. So Leaf Blade getting the critical hit was really important there, but also Freeze Dry is a very important move on Ninetales. And now Xurkitree coming in for Aaron allows him to put a lot of pressure onto Ben's side of the field. Kartana is not a very defensive Pokemon. Xurkitree, extremely strong special attacks. If it is a fast Xurkitree, it could do big damage here, but Ninetales, with its speed tier, will be going first. Will Ben want to try and protect it from any damage and try and save Blizzard, Blizzard or Aurora Veil, which acts as Reflect or Light Screen for later on in the game?
Yeah, that's true. I think Ninetales might want to switch out here because obviously It wants to get that hail back up because the drizzle doesn't benefit Ben in any way at all, apart from maybe not taking a fire move onto the Kartana, but the Kartana is damaged enough so that any move will hit it anyway. But we do see the Ninetales switch out for the Marowak. Do we see a switch from... we don't see a switch, we see a hidden power. Let's see what type this hidden power is. It's going to hit the Kartana. It's going to not knock it out, so that might be a hidden power ice or something. But we do see the Night Slash going to the Metagross, finally knocking it out.
So a little bit of information there. So we saw that Aaron's circuitry moved before the Metagross. There goes the Beast Boost. We can see the attack rising for Kartana, which Ben is nodding about there. Extremely powerful Kartana, a big threat on the field. So we saw that the hidden power ice there came before Kartana's attack, which means that it's more than likely that Xurkitree is holding a Choice Scarf. And it was a nice switch from Ben there, bringing in the Marowak to protect Kartana and Alolan Ninetales from any lightning type attacks and save his Blizzard, save his Hail in the back for later. Tapu Lele coming in here threatens some big damage onto Marowak, but will have to take a Shadow Bone as well. Kartana is now going to switch out for Ben.
Yes, Kartana's going to switch out into the Oranguru. The Oranguru is a little bit bulkier than the Kartana at this point, but we do see the Protect from the Marowak. Ben just scouting out what Aaron might want to do. While we do see the hidden power again, so that possibly confirms the Choice Scarf into the Oranguru. Does enough damage, just a little bit of damage, but we do see the Z move!
Here we go. Here goes the C move from Aaron's side of the field. That is going to be Shattered Psyche, the Psychic type Z move there. So what is he going to be using? So it's going to be a physical attack, so we're not going to see any status move coming out. And look at this animation. Tapu Lele is not messing about here. Going to launch directly into that Alolan Marowak. How much damage will this do?
It won't do quite as much because Marowak did protect, but it does probably bring it into psychic range.
That is a nice amount of damage there. So a good bit of information for Ben for later on in the set. So we know that Tapu Lele is holding that Z crystal. So Oranguru coming in, taking the hidden power ice. Xurkitree cannot use any electric type attacks anyway because of Marowak being on the field. So Aaron wants to try and target that and get rid of it to make sure his Xurkitree is the fastest thing on the field and will be able to get those big powerful electric type attacks off later on in the game.
Yes, this is true. Ben does have the advantage at this point. He can still switch his Pokemon, and as we do see a switch back into the Ninetales, probably to take a psychic move from the Tapu Lele. The Snow Warning does go up a little bit too late, I would say, maybe. Well, maybe not for Ben Kiriaku because he does have the Pokemon advantage, but we do see the hidden power. It's going to go right into, if it hits, it's going to hit the Oranguru, not do quite as much damage, but we see the substitute for the Tapu Lele.
That's a nice play from Aaron there. So Tapu Lele now being able to take some really powerful attacks, and with Trick Room going up this turn and Alolan Marowak still in the back, which is a very slow Pokemon, will be able to move very fast under Trick Room. It protects it from a powerful Shadow Bone attack. So it means that Aaron can still get some use out of Tapu Lele even with the speed swap reversed it.
Yeah, but the weirdness does leave the field, so now we're back to our regular old background, but the hail is still up, so we might be seeing some Instruct Blizzards here.
Yeah, so that's a cool thing that Ben can do with his Oranguru. Obviously, Ninetales is extremely fast. It is faster than Tapu Lele in most cases, unless it's holding a specific item. Xurkitree will be moving last here due to the fact that we've seen it could be holding the Choice Scarf. So Aaron might want to protect it here and make sure that he can get Ninetales off the field and bring in Alolan Marowak, double down onto that as well to make sure that Xurkitree can win in the late game.
Yeah, and we do see the Oranguru protecting in this point, even though the Trick Room is up. Maybe Ben wants to scout out what kind of speed tier the Tapu Lele is, and it does go for the Psychic onto the Ninetales, probably giving actually Ben Kiriaku a very clever switch into whatever Pokemon Ben Kiriaku wants to put in from the back.
Yep, and so we see the hidden power coming out onto the Protect there from Oranguru. We have the Hail on the field now, which is slowly wearing away the HP of Aaron's side of the field. So we see Tapu Lele's HP going down here, which is nice for Ben. So Aaron gets no use out of his Rain because Pelipper didn't stick around for long enough. Ben can slowly whittle down Aaron's Pokemon as well and bring Marowak in here now, which is the fastest thing. So Aaron now has to figure out whether he wants to keep Xurkitree in for later on in the game. Oh no, he can't. Yeah, exactly. There's nothing left now. So he is in a difficult position where Alolan Marowak can get a big attack off onto Xurkitree and knock it out, and Oranguru is free to try and get rid of this sub.
Yeah, that's very true. And because the circuitry is locked into Choice Scarf, it has no protecting option, so the Marowak can go for the move and the Oranguru can just make it move again with the Instruct, so this is a terrible position for Aaron Zheng.
Yep, so we've got 3 Pokemon on Ben's side of the field and only two on Aaron's, and with Circuitry locked into a non-same type attack boosted attack and being the slowest Pokemon in the field and not having that terribly high defenses, it's going to be difficult for Aaron to try and pull this one back.
Yeah, that's true, and we do see the Shadow Bone from the Marowak going into the Tapu Lele. Cleverly enough, we're probably going to see the Instruct, since the Hidden Power Ice isn't very much of a threat to Ben at this point, and we do see the Instruct with the Shadow Bone probably into the Tapu Lele. So Ben is probably going to take this game, isn't he?
Yeah, so we're going to see the Shadow Bone coming out, and it's going to go onto the same attacking slot that it was previously, so that's how Instruct works. If you attack into one slot, Instruct will make sure you attack into the same slot again. Tapu Lele now will leave the field. Circuitry is going to launch a Hidden Power here. We've got to see how much damage this is going to do to Marowak. Doesn't do that much at all.
Not very much at all.
So Ben has that information for later on in the game, knowing that if Aaron chooses to lock into his Hidden Power, which probably will be Hidden Power Ice, he will not take that much damage at all. So again, Hale going to whistle him down, and Aaron's got to try and see what information he can get out of the rest of this game.
Yeah, that's true. And Ben, I believe Ben is going to be clever enough not to reveal too much, so I wouldn't be surprised to see another Shadow Bone with the Instruct Shadow Bone onto the Circuitry. But we do see the forfeit from Aaron, as he knows that's exactly what Ben will do.
Yep, so we see the forfeit coming out from Aaron Zheng there. So a really well-played game by Ben. Ben was quite commanding, managing to get up his Trick Room late in the game, and this is the great thing about running Oranguru as well. It allows you to have a Pokemon next to you and use really powerful attacks that could force a knockout on the opponent's side of the field twice. It's amazing, and Alola Marowak being a very good candidate for that, especially against Circuitry.
Yeah, especially against, now that we've seen that Choice Scarf Circuitry in the Trick Room. I don't know if Aaron Zheng is going to think about locking into Hidden Power Ice, because maybe that's where he went wrong.
Yeah, so maybe Aaron will choose not to bring Circuitry this time round, just for the fact that if Alola Marowak makes an appearance, which it probably will, he's kind of stuck just using attacks that get no same type of attack boost and will not do that much damage against Ben's really bulky team.
Yes, but Aaron does have the Rain mode in the back. The Pelipper went down a little bit too quickly, but the Marowak is extremely weak to that Rain mode.
So we're going to jump into game 2 now, guys. Again, Ben Kiriaki on the left-hand side of your screen, Aaron Zheng on the right, and we'll just quickly go over the teams once more for you. So Ben's team is going to be Alolan Ninetales, Kartana, Marowak, Hariyama, Oranguru, and Milotic. And Aaron Zheng's team, which is on the right side of your screen, will be Metagross, Gyarados, Pelipper, Tapu Lele, Golduck, and Circuitry.
Yes, and obviously Aaron Zheng has got something to think about. Ben Kiriakou, he didn't reveal too much. I mean, you can pretty much assume there's going to be a Fire move on that Marowak as well, which might not see much use in this Rain matchup. But they both picked their Pokemon very, very quickly, and we do go into the second game of the tournament.
So yeah, we are still in round 1 of the first ever European International Championships here in London, England, and both trainers are getting ready to launch their Pokemon. And Aaron Zheng is going to stare you down from the in-train mode there, and he is ready to go. He is 1 game behind. He needs to make up for the loss in the first match. And we're actually going to see Circuitry and Metagross coming out here for Aaron Zheng, and Oranguru and Marowak for Ben Kiriakou.
Yes, Oranguru Marowak definitely helped Ben Kiriakou in the previous game, while Aaron Zheng is pretty much adamantly sticking with his Metagross lead, but this time leading with his Circuitry, maybe so that he can lock in earlier and make the correct locking choice.
But a really, really nice time for Ben Kiriakou here, because Alola Marowak is in a great position. We can see Circuitry leading the field because of the Lightning Rod ability from Aaron Zheng, from Alola Marowak, and Tapu Lele is going to hit instead. But we're going to see we could see Shadow Bone coming out here, which does big damage to both Tapu Lele and Metagross.
Yeah, that's very true, but we do see the Zen Headbutt, and Marowak avoids it. That is heartbreaking for Aaron Zheng, and we do see the Shadow Bone into the Metagross. It's going to knock it right out.
Huge damage.
If we see a Trick Room, this could be curtains for Aaron Zheng, and we do see the Trick Room.
That is heartbreaking. So the Zen Headbutt coming out from Aaron's Metagross, taking a Shadow Bone, taking a one-hit knockout, showing the true power of Alola Marowak here. Alola Marowak really performing well for Ben, protecting him from Circuitry, and now Gyarados coming in the field is going to intimidate the Marowak, but Ben is in the position he wants to be in here. Aaron really has to worry about protecting his Tapu Lele from a double Shadow Bone due to Instruct. Ben might want to switch out his Marowak here to reduce the Intimidate, but Gyarados being on the field means that there could be a Z move coming out onto the Marowak slot, or we could just be seeing a Dragon Dance as well to try and get a bit more attacking power.
Yeah, that's so upsetting for Aaron Zheng. I think he made the correct play, because by switching into Psychic Terrain, it would boost the damage output of that Zen Headbutt, and with it being the same type attack bonus on the Metagross, onto the Marowak, I believe it could have probably knocked it out in one shot. But yeah, unfortunately that didn't happen. Zen Headbutt can miss, but we're going to see the Marowak protecting from any potential big moves from the Aaron side of the field. But we do see the Tapu Lele just protecting itself as well, just sorting out some trick room. But we do see the Psychic, which in the Psychic Terrain is going to boost a little bit as well. Not take quite as much damage, but we see the Waterfall onto the Marowak.
Smart play from Ben there, so understanding that Aaron probably would want to protect his Tapu Lele here. Marowak is in a very good position. Gyarados does do super effective damage to it, so a protect is safe for him here. And Oranguru having that Psychic attack boosted by the Psychic Terrain, really able to get some chip damage onto Gyarados.
Yes, but we do see the Tapu Lele switch out because it probably doesn't want to take the double Shadow Bone from the Instruct. But we do see the Shadow Bone go into the circuitry, and we're probably going to see an Instruct. It does. It's going to knock out, so we do see...
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
And the defense drop as well, just adding the extra gravy there. So we're going to see the Instruct onto Alola Marowak. It's happy, spinning its bone there. We're going to see Shadow Bone going onto Circuitry. That is going to be a knockout. So Aaron is now down to his last two Pokemon, and there's still a couple of turns of Trick Room left.
Yes, that's true, but we do finally see a Waterfall go onto this Marowak. Is it going to be able to knock out? Not quite, so this was a bulky Marowak all along.
So we see Marowak being able to take that Waterfall there, so an unboosted Gyarados from Aaron there. And yeah, so Ben is still in an extremely good position. He can use Shadow Bone twice more. Gyarados could be in range for, it should be in range for another target from Shadow Bone and Instruct. So Gyarados could be knocked out this time, and Tapu Lele being left as the last Pokemon on the field.
Yeah, that's true. Both of Aaron's Pokemon can be knocked out, but I believe we only have the one turn of Trick Room left. Obviously, the players can see that because with the new mechanics in Sun and Moon, you can see all the terrain effects that are in play right now. But yeah, I think it's curtains for Aaron, unfortunately.
Yeah, so if Aaron chooses to protect both his Pokemon and waste a Trick Room here, Ben could keep his Marowak around for one turn and then sack it and bring in a faster Pokemon to take on the end game, and Kartana would be a really nice choice for that role, as it's a very fast and very powerful Pokemon and gets the Night Slash that we've seen previously, which would do massive damage to Tapu Lele.
Yeah, and we see the Tapu Lele protect. Do we see Ben Kriyaku make the correct prediction? We do see Ben Kriyaku make the correct
Very
prediction.
solid play there from Ben. So that is going to... we see the Citrus Berry coming out from Gyarados there. So we're going to have Gyarados last for one more turn, and it will pick up the knockout if he chooses to use Waterfall here.
Yeah, that's true, but a great prediction from Ben. It's going to leave the Gyarados at almost no health, and I guess the Citrus Berry is a saving grace in this situation. Unless we see a critical hit. We don't quite see a critical hit, but we do see a Waterfall probably onto the Marowak, finally knocking it out, but Ben Kriyaku does have the lead with two more Pokemon in the back.
Yep, so we do see Marowak go down here, and Ben has time to think about what he wants to bring in. He has a lot of time left on the clock. You can see the Your time ticking down there, and he's just got to worry about, okay, so Trick Room's going to end. I want to be able to outspeed his Pokemon. Gyarados is heavily damaged, so Oranguru could knock it out with a Psychic. If he's got going to bring in Ninetales here, and a big Blizzard coming off of the boosted effect from Snow Warning will do big damage here, pick up the knockout onto Gyarados, and then he's free to try and take down Tapu Lele with a Psychic from Oranguru.
Yeah, that's true. And did we see the Trick Room run out?
No, it hasn't run out this time.
Okay, so the Ninetales is a naturally speedy Pokemon, so maybe the Ninetales is going to want to protect so that it can just Blizzard the next turn. But maybe Aaron Zheng could predict that and go for a tricky Dragon Dance, but Ben Kriyaku could prevent that by just targeting the Gyarados with his Orangurus.
Yep, and that's the good thing about Oranguru. A lot of people are scared of that Instruct attack, which does allow you to get two massive attacks off with your partner Pokemon. But also Oranguru, when paired with Psychic Terrain, does do significant damage. It's not a slouch when it comes to special attack.
Yeah, and we do indeed see the Psychic go into the Gyarados. The Gyarados just last faint, and we're going to see the Tapu Lele go for a Psychic Z move, maybe into the Ninetales, but we did see the Focus Sash onto the Ninetales, unfortunately, earlier.
Yep, so we are going to see Shattered Psyche again. I believe you're right, Matt. If we do see it coming onto the Ninetales, it will survive with that Focus Sash, and there will be a single target Blizzard coming Tapu Lele's way. And it does have quite significant special defense, and so Aaron should be able to survive this turn. and it's a good bit of information for him later on into the tournament if he ever comes across an Alolan Ninetales again.
Yeah, that's true. This is a single target move, so it's going to do a lot of damage, especially with the same type of attack bonus. But that Tapu Lele is bulky enough to take that, especially maybe even with the hail damage. Does it bring it? It does bring it below to 50%, so that's great information for Aaron to learn from the next coming rounds. And
now we have a really nice turn for Ben as well, where he can get a fast Blizzard off now. Ninetales is the fastest Pokemon on his side of the field, and if Tapu Lele is not knocked out, then he can pick up the extras with the Psychic from Oranguru. Really well played set by Ben.
Yeah, fantastically played by Ben. Aaron Zhang does forfeit the game. Ben takes that game in commanding fashion.
Yeah, so you see the relief there coming out from Ben's side of the field, and it is really great to be able to pick up a round
Pokemon we didn't see before.
Yes, I do, but we are going to see these teams. Oh my gosh. Lyle is running a team of Gengar, Tapu Bulu, Magnezone, Salamence, Politoed, and Golduck.
Oh yeah, and we see Ashton Cox's team with Nihilego, Arcanine, Togedemaru, Gyarados, Mudsdale, and Tapu Bulu. Interesting teams, Matt.
Yep, so we can pretty much guarantee we're going to see a lot of grassy terrain recovery animation.
Absolutely.
But we do see the Gengar. Now, Gengar in Pokemon Sun and Moon lost its Levitate ability, and it now has instead Cursed Body.
Oh yeah. This might be a buff, might be not, but because of it being grounded now, it can abuse terrains.
Yeah, that's very. Yeah, it can abuse the terrain, which is really cool. Taking a bit of recovery from the grassy terrain, especially. Obviously, it's got a big poison move to knock out things like the Tapu Bulu, and maybe we might be seeing. I was talking earlier about Ghost Pokemon holding the Ghostium Z Crystal. Maybe we can see some Destiny Bond shenanigans, which mixes quite well with Cursed Bodies. We see Destiny Bond with Ghostium Z Destiny Bond, which redirects towards Gengar.
Absolutely.
Combine that with the Cursed Body ability, and if he doesn't use that option, he's got the Shadow Ball, maybe Ghostium Z option. So a lot of options on Laya's team, but we are going to be jumping into the game very soon. Laios Voltostoff versus Ashton Cox. Give it up for these guys.
I'm really excited. I've seen that rain mode on Laya's team, and Ashton, I don't think he can stand that. I've seen the Tapu Bulu, but if like Laya is going to bring the rain mode and the Gengar, who can hurt the Bulu pretty much, it will be hard. And here we are seeing the rain mode.
In fact, we do see the Politoed and Golduck. Usually we see the core of Pelipper Golduck, but the Golduck is going to be a huge threat from the get-go. Nihilego is not going to like those water moves as it doesn't resist it. It's actually weak to them. But Togedemaru could do a lot of damage here with its really cool move, Zing Zap.
Oh, I love that move, and what usually Togedemaru also runs is that Fake Out. Those two moves are pretty much set in stone on those movesets, and I really like the Lightning Rod on Togedemaru, but I think we are going to see some huge water moves coming out from the Politoed, and maybe Golduck is trying to avoid a Nuzzle, for example, from Togedemaru.
Yeah, that's true. Togedemaru is definitely a threat on Ashton Cox's side of the field. With a Fake Out, it could even turn Nihilego in a threat, or allow him to switch Nihilego into something a little bit safer. But we just see the Golduck going for the simple protect, not wanting to risk getting knocked out by a Fake Out move. And we just see a simple double protect. Now this would be a lot riskier in previous formats with Kangaskhan around, but we do indeed see the Fake Out go into the Golduck. Do we see the Nihilego go for a boost? No, it just goes for a simple sludge bomb. So a little bit of a nothing turn, but Laios does get some nice little scouting bits.
He brings himself in a really good position because now Golduck can fire off some really strong water attacks. I don't know what item Togedemaru usually wears. It has so many options. It can run Air Balloon, it can run Focus Sash, it can run even Assault Vest. That's so cool. I've already seen some eject button Togedemaru's as well. I think we're going to see a... Well, Lai is probably trying to take one Pokemon out from Ashton's side of the field as fast as he can.
Yes, but we do see Ashton pulling out the Togedemaru, keeping it for later use. But we do see the Tapu Bulu, which will be resisting all the water attacks that Leo throws at it. But what are we going to see here? We're going to see the Z move. It's going to be Hydro Vortex, probably on that Golduck, and yes, we do see the Golduck getting boosted, surrounding itself with the Z power, and it's going to unleash its full force Z move, which is Hydra Vortex. Let's see which target he goes for. It's the Tapu Bulu. What an amazing switch by Ashton Cox. He's going to take that really, really well. But, oh wow, not quite as well as I thought it was going to be. Golduck is a big, big Pokemon, and we do see the Sludge Bomb onto the Golduck. It's going to bring it down for quite a lot. Is that a Life Orb? No,
that actually is a Life Orb.
Wow. But Nihiligo's got that huge, huge special defense, and the burn, which is a little bit weaker in this generation than it was in previous games, because it now only cuts down a 16th of damage instead of what it was doing an 8th earlier. But we see the grassy terrain is going to, the animation's going to take a long time, and we see the leftovers as well. Tapu Bulu wanting as much recovery out of its turns as possible.
Absolutely, and Lai is still in the playing position, I think. Ashton Cox now has to think about whether Golduck is running a Ice Beam, if that Ice Beam is going to take out that Bulu, and Politoed still threatens that Nihiligo, and he doesn't want to switch into booster water attacks neither, so that's a pretty tough situation for Ashton to be in.
That's true, and Protect is always an option on both these teams.
Absolutely, absolutely, but it doesn't better up his field position now once he protects the Bulu. Well, Nihiligo could take out the Golduck in return if Golduck fires off an Ice Beam into Bulu, but I think Lai is pretty well known for a defensive play. He's not that aggressive. He always tries to play it safe, and I do not think he's going to run into that Protect in the Bulu.
Well, he's taken his time quite a bit, but we do see the Nihiligo switch out in favour of the Togedemaru, so maybe a bit of defensive switching to get himself into a better position, but Politoed does switch out, possibly preserving the Drizzle for later, and we do see the Own Tapu Bulu. Thankfully, the grassy terrains don't stack, so see the light screen on the Golduck. What? That is amazing, but we do see the Horn Leech onto the Golduck, does knock it out, allowing Ashton to recover a lot of HP, especially with the grassy terrain and the leftovers.
That light screen is a pretty neat option because, you know, those Golducks do not have that much coverage options, and light screen is pretty defensive way to play, but now Tapu Bulu from Ashton Cox is back at almost full health with this Horn Leech leftovers and recovery from the grassy terrain. And Togedemaru is now in to fire off a Fake Out, and Laio brings in Magnet Zone, something I haven't seen that often before.
Yeah, the Magnet Zone does come in. It usually carries the Magnet Pull ability so that it can catch the Celesteela and make sure the Celesteela can't switch out from the very, very strong Thunderbolts or Discharges or Volt Switch that the Magnet Zone won't throw at it.
Yeah, now Togedemaru cannot switch out. He can obviously still use the Fake Out, as we see.
Yeah, we do see the Fake Out onto the Magnet Zone, possibly breaking its potential sturdy ability. And we see from one Horn Leech to the other, it's not going to do quite as much damage. Does a bit more damage than I expected it to do, but Togedemaru does resist it. And we do see the Wood Hammer from Ashton Cox's into the Magnet Zone. Going to do decent damage. At least we don't see a Choice Scarf from this Magnet Zone. But what are we going to see here? We see the flinch.
Oh, this is huge. There could have been a flash cannon.
That was a Fake Out, sorry.
Oh yeah. Woodhammer cannot flinch, no. Yeah. Absolutely right. And Bulu takes some recoil, but with leftovers and grassy terrain up, it is back up. So does any other Pokemon in the field as well, because everyone is grounded. And still a tough position. Now you got some control because Togedemaru probably can't go out. Analytic is still an option. Tapu Bulu is in danger of Magnet Zone because it usually doesn't run any move that can damage a Magnet Zone that much. We have seen the strong Wood Hammer, so that's a pretty tough option.
Yeah,
position, sorry guys.
Neither Tapu Bulu is really doing much offensively, but it's also, you don't want to accidentally switch it out in case the opponent switches out into something either.
Absolutely not. I'm really looking forward what is happening now, and Here we see it.
Yeah, we see the one Tapu Bulu switch out for the Euros. A little bit risky, but the Togedemaru does have the lightning rod to possibly draw any electric moves, single target electric moves towards it.
Yeah.
But what are we going to see here? We do see the Magnezone just go for protect. Maybe Ashton Cox will try to target it anyway. And we see the nuzzle onto the Tapu Bulu. It's going to paralyze the Tapu Bulu while taking it's going to take a little bit of damage as well, which it can recover admittedly with the Psychic Terrain. And it is fully paralyzed. A lucky break for Ashton Cox here while the rain does stop.
Absolutely. And now Ashton Cox brought himself into a really good position. He got the Togedemaru to draw in all electric type moves aimed at Gyarados. I'm pretty unsure if Lyo is running a spread electric move like Discharge on his Magnezone, but he could actually Discharge right now to get rid of the Gyarados.
Exactly, and this charge wouldn't even be that bad of an option because Tapu Bulu does resist it and it can't be paralyzed anymore because
it already is. I love the nuzzle on Togedemaru. It slows down opponent's team so nicely. You can even fish for flinches later on because Gyarados pretty much is guaranteed to run Waterfall. And
Zing Zap as well.
Zing Zap as well. Zing Zap is able to flinch as well. That's a pretty cool. We know that.
Speaking of the devil, we do see a Zing Zap into the Tapu Bulu, hoping for some sort of paralysis flinch, and we do see the Dragon Dance. That could be dangerous for Ashton Cox. Do we see a Discharge from this Magnezone? Because that's, I would say that's Lyra's only out, and we see the substitute. Oh my god, these players. What do we see from the Tapu Bulu? We do see the Wood Hammer onto the Togedemaru, not onto the Gyarados, and it doesn't quite knock out. Oh wow, that is so close.
That would have been huge.
Yeah.
That Magnezone could have thunderbolted that Gyarados. I like Substitute as an option on Magnezone. We have seen so many Celestinas with Sub and Leaf Seed running around, so a Substitute is a really good option, and Lyo probably thought about that matchup.
Yeah.
That's why he got it on it. And in this position, Substitute isn't that bad because he cannot attack that Gyarados with Thunderbolt. I guess Substitute implies he doesn't have Discharge.
Yeah, because it does take one of the move slots away. The Togedemaru is probably in range of a weaker move from Magnezone, especially because the grassy terrain's gone.
Yeah.
But we do see the Tapu Bulu come out, possibly to preserve the grassy terrain for later, and we do see the Politoed come out. Ashton Cox looks a little bit happy about that. Maybe he was targeting that slot with a Zing Zap. That could be a little bit dangerous for the Politoed, especially if there's some sort of information to reveal. And we do see the Ice Slang onto the Politoed. That's quite a good switch for Lyle, but we might see that being covered with the Encore onto the Magnezone. That is heartbreaking.
That is heartbreaking. Magnezone now can only use Substitutes, so he sits there. Lyo brought himself into a good position, predicting that Ice Fang probably reach the... Yeah, not resetting the grassy terrain, he's saving it for later. And Politoed really threatens that Togedemaru as well. It's interesting to see which Pokemon is faster. Togedemaru is naturally pretty fast. Naturally faster than Politoed, so I don't know how fast trained that Politoed is, and as you can see, Encore is a pretty neat option, and now Ashton Cox is in a pretty good situation. Rain is up, Togedemaru threatens Politoed.
And we do see just quite a simple waterfall onto the Politoed slot. That does so much damage, especially after that Dragon Dance. The light screen did not help at all in the slightest, and he Zing Zap's probably going to pick up the KO on the Politoed.
Oh, yeah.
Meanwhile, this Magnezone is just not doing much, is it? It's just still substituting. This is a terrible position for Lyle. I think one of the mistakes he might have made in the earlier turns, I think he should have, if he did carry Ice Beam on the Golduck, I think he should have gotten rid of the Tapu Bulu and not waste a turn with the light screen.
And going after that Togedemaru as fast as possible is also pretty important for him to get it away. Gyarados Togedemaru is pretty common. It's a pretty common combination. Fake Out plus Dragon Dance and not being able to be hit by electric types, and now Ashton Cox is in a pretty good situation.
Yeah, and we might just see a Z move from the Ashton... was that from Ashton Cox's side? Yeah, that's a Z move. That allows Lyle to scout out. Lyle is scouting out cleverly enough. We do see the Z Crucial Hydro Vortex, which with the Dragon Dance boost is going to probably knock out this Tapu Bulu, especially with the Zing Zap and the Waterfall.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just a one hit. Well, it's a critical hit, but I don't think it mattered because with the Waterfall, with the Zing Zap, with the paralysis, I don't think the Tapu Bulu was going to move that turn.
No,
we do see a almost no damage Zing Zap onto that substitute, but Lyle takes this game. Ashton takes this game, sorry.
And I think that Zing Zap from Togedemaru was aimed at Tapu Bulu as well to secure the hit, because now this Magnezone can be encored into substitute on and on and on and on, and if not in substitute, then it gets encored into protect, and that doesn't help Lion either. So he's probably trying to.
Yeah, and we do see the forfeit. I do like this Magnezone. The leftovers and the grassy terrain, it pairs up really, really nicely, and especially with substitute. I think objectively that's quite a good idea. So quite clever team building from Lyle, but I think he just needs to think about his matchup a little bit better.
Yeah, absolutely, Matt. Welcome back, guys. We've just seen a really cool match with two interesting teams. I really like those teams. We got Lai with the Rain Mode team. We were talking about yesterday what are people going to bring, and we already talked about Rain teams as an interesting option because you got Politoed and Pelipper as possible setters. And he combined it with Tapu Bulu, Gengar, Salamence, and Magnezone, which is an interesting pick as well.
Yeah, I mean, Togedemaru was really like, it really holds Ashton Cox's team together, really, especially in this matchup. The Gyarados is so dangerous, and we do see Ashton Cox didn't quite bring the Arcanine, but with, you know, the Intimidates as well could have an effect on the Tapu Bulu especially, but it seems like Lyle's team is pretty much specially orientated, really.
Yeah, absolutely, and the Arcanine is threatened by the Rain Mode from Lyle as well, so maybe that is the reason why Ashton didn't want to bring the Arcanine, because he got that Nihilicho. Togedemaru doesn't take water types that well, and now we are going to see the second match, Lyle Waltersdorf versus Ashton Cox, two well-known and creative team builders out there, and I'm really looking forward to what they bring. I guess Lyle is still having that Rain Mode somewhere. Here it is.
Yeah, and we do see the Politoed Golduck lead from Lyle, while we see the Togedemaru Tapu Bulu lead from Ashton.
This looks like a total anti-rain lead from Ashton. We got the grassy terrain is getting set up, and Politoed and Golduck are pretty in danger right now. Bulu threatens both Pokemon. Togedemaru got its fake out, so Lai is either trying to better up his ball position here, or he's just sitting out that fake out with a double protect, but doesn't help out either for the next turn, so it's pretty tough situation for Lyle to be in right now.
Yeah, it's not a great one at all, Sebi. With the Politoed and Golduck, with a fake out and a Wood Hammer, they're just going to go down. But the Magnezone does come out. Very standard defensive switch, and the Golduck does protect, because, as we remember, it does hold the Water Crystal, so it could do some big damage. But we see the Sword Dance on the Tapu Bulu! Oh my!
That is huge. This is how Ashton Cox abuses the defensive play with a well-timed Sword Dance, and now those Wood Hammers from Tapu Bulu really hurt.
That is going to do a lot of damage to literally everything with the grassy terrain. In fact, Lyle doesn't have a way to get rid of the grassy terrain, so the grassy terrain plus the Horn Leech or the Wood Hammer plus the Sword Stance is going to do so much damage. But we do see the Tapu Bulu protecting, while Lyle does go for the Water Crystal move, maybe just trying to get at least a lot of damage onto this very dangerous looking Tapu Bulu right now. We do see the Hydro Vortex go out. Which target is it going to be? If it is the Tapu Bulu, it's going to take no damage at all, but it's a very good prediction onto the Togedemaru. Brilliantly done. The Togedemaru takes so much damage, but it clings on with the Focus Sash. Oh my god. And we do see the Nuzzle onto the Golduck. That is heartbreaking. It's going to paralyze it, and the Swift Swim is not going to be applicable anymore. But do we see a move from this Magnezone? A Flash Cannon into the Tapu Bulu, not quite completing that prediction. That is heartbreaking.
That is really heartbreaking, not only for us, also for Laio, who
Especially for Laio.
he like really that play, going for that water zap move into Togedemaru to take it out as fast as possible was a good play. And now we see finally the item of Togedemaru, and it's a focus sash. It's not uncommon though, it's pretty common item on Togedemaru, but now Laio is again in a pretty rough situation.
Yeah, but the Golduck does still have some speed because, well, Ice Beam into Togedemaru, maybe not quite, but the Togedemaru does get knocked out, but the Golduck is paralyzed, and with the Swift Swim, it can still do some damage, but the Wood Hammer goes into the Magnet Zone. If Golduck gets a move, oh my, oh my, that does so much damage. But do we see a move from this Golduck? It's going to be a big one. Do we see the...
We have seen an Ice Beam.
Oh, from the Golduck, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We have seen the Ice Beam from Golduck into the Togedemaru, and that Wood Hammer really hurts. Yeah. I do not want to sit in front of Tapu Bulu right now because
Nope.
it literally one-shots almost everything.
Probably, very probably. Now you saw the Golduck move a lot faster than you might expect for the Paralysis, because Paralysis only cuts half the speed in Pokemon Sun and Moon, while in previous games it would cut down to a quarter of the speed.
Absolutely, and we see Gyarados coming in from Ashton's side and Tapu Bulu coming in from Laio's side, and again, pretty rough situation for Laio to be in. There is a Tapu Bulu boosted by Sword Dance, there is a Gyarados who is able to Dragon Dance, and we have seen that Ice Fang who threatens the Tapu Bulu. Golduck cannot hit neither Tapu Bulu nor Gyarados for big damage. So let's see, and he's
just withdrawing the Gyarados, and the Arcanine is going to come in, going to get off another Intimidate on the Tapu Bulu. We see a stark difference in Tapu Bulus here. One Tapu Bulu is -2 stages of attack, while the other Tapu Bulu is +2 stages of attack. But we do see how switching out his own Tapu Bulu to reset that. And the Rain, I would say, comes back in, but the Rain has been there for a while. Yeah. Meanwhile, this Golduck is going to go for an Ice Beam onto that Tapu Bulu slot, while the Tapu Bulu just protects. Great play by Ashton.
Absolutely, absolutely. His position didn't get any worse. Laio tried to better up his ball position, but it's pretty hard. Especially now we see that Ashton brought his Arcanine, and it's going to be pretty rough for Laio to break through that Arcanine.
I guess you could say it's pretty rough.
Rough.
That's it, right? The Arcanine doesn't quite like this position here, because with the Golduck and the Politoed can knock it out. Unless we see a cool item in this Arcanine, I don't think we're going to see it remain on the field.
Well, I've seen some Arcanines running Snarl out there to lower his special attack, and...
we see no Snarl, but we just see the Gyarados coming right back out again. I want to say it's Shuffling Intimidates, but that's not really what's happening. We do see the Intimidates. The Tapu Bulu did protect last turn, so we're probably going to see... We see the Paralysis on the Golduck, the full Paralysis. That is bad for Laio. We see the Encore! Oh! Some just desserts!
Whoa, the Encore, well-timed Encore on this. Well, this might change something.
This changes everything, because now the Tapu Bulu is very tempted to switch out, but the Swords and let that Swords Dance go to waste. Laio can take full advantage of this. Fantastic play by Laio. Wow. Talk about a vengeance, essentially.
Well, really well-timed Encore. I love Encore in this format. Now, Ashton knows maybe that it's not a good idea to Dragon Dance with Gyarados, because he doesn't want to get Encored in, and he withdraws his Sword Dancing Bulu in favor of Arcanine. So he preserves it for later on. He doesn't want it to be Ice Beamed or something, and we see the Dragon Dance coming.
Yeah, the Dragon Dance is going to boost the speed and the attack of this Gyarados. It can't quite do too much to this. We see the Perish Song! What? What? Oh my god, if this Golduck did go for a move onto the Arcanine, it's a Hydro Pump. It connects with the Arcanine! I think Laio might be able to take this in the 3 turns.
Whoa!
Oh my gosh! Laio! Laio!
Oh, I love that play. That was huge. That was huge. That Gyarados is going down in 3 turns, and Laio is still able to switch Pokemon.
Yes, that's true. Lyo can switch a Pokemon. The Tapu Bulu is going to do a lot of damage still, but with 2 clever protects, 1 switch out, the Gyarados is going to go down. What does Lyo have in the back? Remind me. Have we seen it?
We have seen it, absolutely. It's a Tapu Bulu as
Oh
well.
yes, it is a Tapu Bulu. The Gyarados is probably the threat to Lyo right now, but if Lyo stalls out perfectly and makes the correct switches, he will come out on top.
Well, do not underestimate that Bulu on Ashton's side. He can now Wood Hammer for free into one of those Pokemon. He just has to guess the non-protecting one to secure another knockout, and that would be huge as well.
Yes, this does come down to the predictions, and they're both taking their time, I believe, to really think this one through. What are we going to see here? Well, we're going to see any switches from Lyo, probably. Which one will switch?
Yeah.
We see the Golduck switching out for the Tapu Bulu. Ashton Cox nodding his head there. Is he going to predict that, or is he going to be missing that? But we see the Polito protect from any sort of move Tapu Bulu is going to throw at it. And we see a second Dragon Dance.
We see a Dragon Dance.
Oh, that could be dangerous. Maybe Ashton was expecting a... oh, that's a good prediction though. A Horn Leech shot to Tapu Bulu. Maybe Ashton was predicting a double protect and going for a second Dragon Dance with it.
Yeah, absolutely. That Gyarados cannot do much damage to Politoed, nor Golduck.
But to the Bulu, it's...
no Bulu without boost, so some Bulus are really trained defensively, and they recover a lot of HP right now.
It has got 2 Dragon Dances under its belt though, so Ice Fang will probably knock it out.
Yeah, no, this is a pretty tough game, a really tough game. That Gyarados is pretty dangerous, but got Perish Song already.
Yeah, the Golduck does come out, and we're going to see the Ice Fang onto the Golduck. Very good play by Laios because the water typing resisting the ice. And we see a second Perish Song. I think we're going to have... Lio is stalling this one out perfectly. We're going to probably see a Wood Hammer onto the Politoed. The Gyarados goes down the next turn, so after Laios protects, there's nothing much Ashton can do to not lose his Gyarados, but Tapu Bulu can get a Sword Dance out so that it can get the advantage into one-on-one for one-on-one.
But remember, Sword Dance also costs you a turn to being able to deal out big damage to an opponent's Tapu Bulu, and I think Lio is now in a really good position. That Perish Song is really clutch in this game. He couldn't defeat the Pokemon by knocking them out, so he's really going after the Perish Song, and that's a really nice mode. I love it.
What a cool team. Golduck can protect, but the full paralysis is probably what will bring it down.
Absolutely, absolutely, and Tapu Bulu is obviously going for protect to save itself from the Ice
Golduck,
Fang.
I think.
Yeah.
And there's no full paralysis, so the Gyarados will go down the next turn. I think Ashton's best play here will probably be to Swords Dance. We see a Z-move water Hydro Vortex into something, and at +2 it's going to do a lot of damage to either Pokemon really, but I don't think with the Protect it's going to knock out, even with the 2 boosts.
I don't think neither. It will do some damage, but it won't take out that Golduck.
Well, I guess time will tell. We see the Golduck resisted, that's not going to be nowhere near enough, and the Gyarados does go down. I think good play by Ashton to go for the Z-move there. The Tapu Bulu does go for the Swords Dance because of the obvious double protects, but the Gyarados is going to go down, so it's really Tapu Bulu versus Tapu Bulu and Paralyzed Golduck.
Absolutely.
So luck can still favour Ashton in this situation.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now he's probably going to take our 1 Pokemon. He's probably going after that Golduck, because this is the one he surely knows he will take out. And then after this turn, there's 1 turn left.
Yeah.
And Lio
I think the
is
play
going to protect.
I think the play right now for Ashton is for him to hope that Tapu Bulu knocks out the other Tapu Bulu, because Golduck will faint before Tapu Bulu. Oh no, the Swift Swim is gone, so no. Tapu Bulu, Golduck will faint afterwards. The substitute!
Huge.
Beautiful playing by Lyle.
Huge. There you see the mind behind that team. That substitute is really clutch right now.
Genius.
And Golduck didn't even get a stretch right.
Yeah. Golduck has been so defensively clutch in this one. I think Lyle has, you know, read the situation, what sort of team he's up against perfectly, and really used his team strength. Like,
absolutely,
excellently
absolutely.
Played. So well played. I have loved watching this set so far. Absolutely amazing set.
I love it as well, and I love to see those games. And now the second game, Laya got it back by setting up those parish songs, not even just one parish song, but two parish songs, so perfectly well timed, and stall those turns out, and now he's just needs to go for that protect, and Ashton cannot knock out that Golduck, neither that Tapu Bulu, and so Laya secures
his second game. That's the second game of this match, and yeah, 1-on-1 now. We're going to go into a game 3, which is always super exciting. Both Golduck and Tapu Bulu on Ashton's side are going to go down because of the Perish song.
Yeah.
Such amazing playing by both of these players in these games. I think Ashton might have the advantage now because Ashton is going to be able to. It has scouted out what Lyle has now. He knows the. Tapu Bulu has a substitute. He knows that the Magnezone has a substitute.
Yeah. Now both teams are on the table, on the line, and it's going to be clutch. Is Lyo again going for that rain mode, that aggressive rain mode? Ashton abused the rain mode to lead perfectly with the Togedemaru and Tapu Bulu. It first went all in Ashton's favor. He got a faker and a free sword dance up. This was huge. You thought, okay, this game is already over, and then we see Lyo coming back
with
and
the encore. What? Well,
absolutely amazing. What a game, but this is what you have to expect from Lyo. You do not top cut at Worlds when you do not know how to play. This was amazing, and Lyo is a really good player. So is Ashton, and I'm really looking forward if we are going to see any adjustments. So Ashton didn't bring, for example, his Mud style, a Pokemon I love a lot, at all because of that rain mode, because of that Tapu Bulu.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, interestingly enough, I think Ashton played correctly in terms of what information he had available to him. If he knew about the substitutes, if he knew about the Perish songs, if he knew about the encores, I very much doubt he would be risking things like swords dancing on the Tapu Bulus and stuff like that. But I think one mistake he did do is bring Arcanine to that matchup, which really does not favour him.
Arcanine doesn't do that much of a damage, especially in rain, to a Tapu Bulu, to a Magnezone. I don't know if Arcanine is the right decision. I think Togedemaru and Gyarados are pretty much set on stone in this matchup. So is Tapu Bulu. He needs Tapu Bulu. I don't know what he is running on his Nihilego besides what we have seen, Sludge Bomb, I think.
And the Life Orb as well.
And the Life Orb. So this is pretty dangerous, but it's threatened by the rain mode a lot.
It is threatened, and I think Ashton essentially is forced to bring one of those Rain Weak Pokemon, but here we go. We are going to see him lead with the Gyarados and the Togedemaru, while Laios does lead with the double substitute lead of Magnezone and Tapu Bulu.
Well, this is a better lead from Lyo this time. He now holds in the Togedemaru, but Togedemaru is still a threat. If he just goes for a fake out on the Tapu Bulu and goes for a Dragon Dance, that Magnezone cannot do much because we know it got substitute. It probably got Thunderbolt, and I guess in this metagame with those fairies around, it might have the Flash Cannon. So Magnezone cannot touch the Gyarados at all. Togedemaru is probably going for a fake out on the Tapu Bulu. And are we going to see a Dragon Dance again?
We probably are going to see a Dragon Dance. Now, Lyle does have the substitute options, but the Togedemaru is going to threaten both those substitutes with the Encore that we did see in Game 2. But move time is going to run out, and Lyle has to plug in his moves right now. But we do see a simple fake out onto the Tapu Bulu. Meanwhile, this Gyarados is free to go for a Dragon Dance. Lyle doesn't have any Intimidates apart from the Salamence of his team to really deal with that. Tapu Bulu is going to flinch because of the fake out, and Magnezone is going to go for the Flash Cannon onto the Gyarados. It's not going to do it's okay damage.
Decent damage, yeah. Absolutely. Oh, and we get the special defense drop. That means that the next Flash Cannons are going to do more damage onto their Gyarados. But the position for Layo didn't get any better. Gyarados took some damage, and what is important, the special defense drop.
Yeah, that can cause, I think Gyarados was in range of 2, maybe 3, but now it's a guaranteed 2-hit KO with that special defense drop.
Did we see all moves from Togedemaru? Yeah, we have seen Fake Out, we have seen Nuzzle, we have seen Nuzzle and Sing Zap. Nice option on the Togedemaru is Poison Jab as well. I love to see a Togedemaru running Poison Jab these days.
Yeah, but we do see the Salamence switching in with the Intimidate. As I was saying a second ago, it's going to also drop the defense of the Togedemaru, because obviously the Togedemaru mostly has physical-based attacks. And we do see the Z move on Ashton. He's going to go straight for the Hydro Vortex, but with the Intimidate, I think that was a fantastic switch by Lyle. We're going to see which target the Hydro Vortex is going to go onto as soon as Gyarados goes for the big roar into the Salamence. Salamence does have a decent physical defense anyway, and it's going to do over half, but it's not going to KO, which is the important bit. And we do see the Zing Zap into the Salamence. Does it take it? Yes! The Intimidate's really paying off dividends here.
Look.
Oh, whoa! Another Z move onto the Tapu Bulu. I think we're going to see the coolest sounding move in the world.
Absolutely. Bloom Doom.
Yes. This is going to be a big move. I don't know which target he's going to go for. It is going to be that Gyarados. It is going to definitely knock out, especially in the in the grassy terrain. Gyarados does go out. Fantastic play by Lyle.
So Lyle bettered up his ball position a lot, like really a lot. He brought Salamence for the first time in this best of 3. Probably a good decision, having Intimidate on his own to threaten the Gyarados and Togedemaru, because he probably realized Ashton is going that route again, and we see the Nihilego coming in.
Yeah, the Nihilego does come in. It's going to do that awesome Koravitz. The Salamence does have some options. We do see mostly special Salamence, so that Togedemaru could be threatened by a Fire Blast or a Flamethrower. But meanwhile, this Tapu Bulu is sitting not very pretty, especially as it's threatened by the Sludge Bomb.
Absolutely, and imagine that Nihilego having Sludge Wave, hitting hitting the whole field for good poison damage, and Togedemaru is immune to poison thanks to its steel typing. This could be an option, and Layo is trying to scout for that, switching in that steel type.
Yeah, and we do see the Protect on the Nihilego. Layo does note something down, and we do see the Protect from the Salamence as well. This could be bad. We do see the Nihilego outspeeding it as well, and the Zing Zap going to the Salamence. So now Ashton knows that his Nihilego can outspeed the Salamence, and the Salamence is not a choice scarf.
Absolutely, this is probably what they were, what Ashton was looking for by using Protect, and Layo abused it. He brought in Magnezone, which threatens that Nihilego a lot right now. Togedemaru cannot damage Magnezone at all, though on the other hand, Magnezone doesn't want to sub in this case.
True. We do see the Gengar come in. Layo switching it up a little bit. Maybe his Gengar has a set very strong as well. And we do see the Sludge Bomb into Gengar. It's going to do barely any damage at all. Do we see the Cursed Body activate? This could be crazy here. We do see it. No, we don't. No. We do see the Zing Zap straight into, probably into that target. And into the Magnezone, it's going to do very little damage here. But we do see the Flash Cannon onto the Nihilego. It's not going to do quite as much damage because Nihilego's big special defense, but it's going to knock out. That's so much training on a special attack on that Nihilego. That's crazy.
Whoa, this one was huge. Layo brought the Gengar just for being able to switch into this Sludge Bomb and to eventually also take a Sludge Wave from that Nihilego. Very good play on Layo's side. And now this Magnezone is like really dangerous for Ashton.
It's both very dangerous, and this Gengar hit. The Gengar does have a Sludge Wave, and the Shadow Ball I think is going to do a very good chunk to the Togedemaru as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. But in this position, 4 Pokemon versus 2, I think La is just trying to take out one Pokemon. This is a good one. He avoids being nuzzled by Togedemaru.
That's brilliant.
That's huge.
Well, the Flash Cannon does go into the Protect as well, so a little bit of a meaningless turn, unfortunately, but we did see the Gengar Protect before the Tapu Bulu, so we know that the Gengar is running at least a little bit of speed training.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I love how Layu protected his Gengar right now. He's in a really good position now. He's able to Sludge Bomb that Tapu Bulu, and then Togedemaru is a lonesome rider on the field.
Yeah, that's correct, and we do see the Magnezone switch out for the Intimidate onto both these Pokemon, because Ashton, I don't think he's got a Pokemon in the back. The Togedemaru does lose another stage of attack, while the Tapu Bulu does lose another stage of attack itself. Tapu Bulu goes for a double protect, and he gets it. Ashton Cox is famous for these double protects. This could be dangerous, and a Nuzzle onto the Gengar. That is heartbreaking.
This is pretty much the worst thing that could happen for Layu right now.
Yeah.
Now his Gengar is pretty slow. Togedemaru got the option to Sing Zap that Gengar, fishing for flinches and fully paralysis.
But we see the Flamethrower onto the Togedemaru. I don't think that might have been the correct target, especially with the Focus Sash being a thing. Unless Layu believes that he can go get through the attacks, and we do see the Zing Zap onto the Salmon, surprisingly enough. Does Ashton Cox have a way of actually damaging this Gengar with a Tapu Bulu? Just a Swords Dance, this could be dangerous if we see a Sludge Bomb onto that slot. If we see a Sludge Bomb and there's no full paralysis, Layu wins. There's a full paralysis! Oh no!
How unfortunate, how unfortunate. That was a really risky play by Ashton, and you see he can't believe himself that it brought him into this really good position now. Tapu Bulu's Wood Hammers hurt right now.
Yeah, they do, but the Intimidate might pay some real good dividends there. But the Gengar and the Magnezone are still a threat to this Tapu Bulu. Wow. I mean, Layu is still in a winning position, really. But Ashton really, he's been lucky before with some of his games, but I think he's very clever in finding what his outs are. Layu does nod his head there, maybe he's expecting something specific. And we do see the Zing Zap onto the Gengar, probably going for the paralysis bench, and we see the Sludge Bomb onto the Tapu Bulu, while the Magnezone does go for the Flash Cannon onto the Togedemaru, and it's going to knock it out. Brilliantly played by Layu, making sure that Togedemaru does go down so that the Tapu Bulu is sitting there on its own.
Absolutely. Now that Tapu Bulu is on its own, it can only knock out one Pokemon per turn, and both Gengar and Magnezone threaten the Bulu. As we all know how to play, how to see this, I probably guessed that Ashton is going after the Magnezone, trying to get the KO on this one to hope for a full paralysis, but doesn't help neither.
It's not going to happen. There's so much chance there, but the Sludge Bomb is going to go down. It's definitely going to absolutely one-hit KO that Tapu Bulu, and Layu does take that game. It was almost going to be a close one because of the luck factor involved, but Layu played that set beautifully.
Absolutely.